The world thinks it knows the story. They think Meghan Markle stepped into the royal world like a bright star, glamorous, innocent, unprepared for the storm waiting behind palace walls. But according to Sarah Ferguson, that's not the real beginning, not even close. Tonight, Fergie, one of the most controversial, most wounded, and most unbreakable women ever to enter royal history, finally reveals the truth. Not rumors, not whispers, not tabloid exaggerations, but the truth she watched unfold with her own eyes. Long before Meghan Markle ever married Prince Harry. And once Fergie speaks, the royal narrative the world believes begins to crack. Slowly, sharply, and painfully. Because this isn't just a story about friendship, rivalry, or royal politics. This is a story about betrayal, silence, power, and the one mistake Meghan never expected to come back to life. Underestimating Sarah Ferguson. Most people think Meghan Markle met Harry by chance, by fate, by a romantic blind date arranged between friends. But what the public never knew, what only a handful of people inside the British aristocratic world whispered about, was that Meghan had already begun entering certain elite circles long before her love story began. And Sarah Ferguson saw it. She didn't just see it, she recognized it, because she once did the same. To understand Sarah's truth, you must understand who she is. For decades, Fergie lived on the razor's edge of the royal world. Not fully inside, not fully outside.
Always in the dangerous middle, where you witness everything, hear everything, but can never say a word. She saw scandals rise. She saw marriages break. She saw lies told so smoothly they looked like truths carved in gold. So when Meghan started appearing in certain rooms, Sarah noticed. According to insiders, it began almost 3 years before Harry ever held her hand at Kensington Palace. And the man at the centre of it all? Marcus Anderson, the Soho House power broker, gatekeeper and social headhunter. He wasn't just a friend, he was an architect. Sources say Marcus introduced Meghan to the network of billionaires, politicians, royals and high-status figures that shaped the British elite. These weren't casual encounters, they were intentional steps, curated invitations, private dinners, parties where cameras were banned, and NDAs were handed out like perfumes at a fashion show. Sarah Ferguson knew all these circles. She knew the people who moved inside them. She knew the quiet rules and the dangerous expectations. And when Meghan started rising through those rooms, Sarah saw something the world didn't. Meghan wasn't stumbling into influence. She was building towards something, and that something eventually led her directly into the path of Prince Harry. But this is where most stories stop. This is where Meghan's narrative begins. Not Sarah's, because Sarah Ferguson's truth took a darker turn the moment she realized Meghan wasn't just entering these circles. She was also leaving a trail of people she distanced herself from as soon as she found the next door. And one of the first casualties of that pattern was Fergie herself. Many people assume Meghan's clashes within the royal family began with William and Kate. They're wrong. According to Sarah Ferguson, the first cracks began quietly, almost invisibly, with the York women, Princess Beatrice, Princess Eugenie, and their mother, Fergie. Before Meghan became a duchess, before the headlines, before the wedding, Meghan was welcomed politely into the York circle. Beatrice and Eugenie were warm, familiar faces. They understood what it felt like to be outsiders in a world defined by strict hierarchies and impossible expectations. They supported Meghan, helped her, guided her through early introductions. But once Meghan's relationship with Harry became serious, something changed. It wasn't slow, it wasn't accidental, it was sharp, cold, deliberate. Sources say Meghan began to distance herself from the York women almost immediately after securing her place beside Harry. Invitations were ignored. Messages went unanswered. connections dissolved, and Fergie saw the transformation with chilling clarity, because she'd lived it before. She'd seen how people behave when they believe proximity to power is finally within reach. What hurt wasn't the distance, it was the dismissal. The York women were treated like footnotes, people from Meghan's old phase who no longer served her new image. That's when Sarah Ferguson understood something vital. Meghan wasn't just building a royal life, she was editing one.
Cutting out pieces she believed were inconvenient, outgrowing people who no longer elevated her image, and curating a new circle she controlled. And that deliberate cut would eventually create the deepest wound of all. Because Sarah Ferguson, unlike most royals, never forgets who turns their back on her. She forgave scandals, she forgave humiliation, she forgave tabloids. But betrayal, that's the one thing she could never erase. Everything could have ended quietly. Fergie could have simply stepped back, accepted the distance, and disappeared from Meghan's new world. But then came the moment insiders say changed everything. A moment so simple, yet so devastating. It transformed Fergie's silence into fire. It was a phone call, just one. A call Sarah Ferguson made during one of the darkest, most unstable periods of her life. Her finances were collapsing. Her reputation was bruised. Her connections were fading. Her marriage to Andrew was hanging like a shadow she could never escape. She reached out to Meghan, not for influence, not for power, but for support. A friendly voice, a small gesture, a simple acknowledgement. Meghan didn't respond. Not a call, not a text, not even a message through intermediaries. She ghosted her completely. Not slowly, not gently, deliberately. Insiders say Meghan didn't want to be associated with the York scandal cloud. She wanted distance from Andrew, distance from past controversies, distance from anything that didn't fit her polished global brand. To Meghan, Fergie was unnecessary, too messy.
Too unpredictable, too close to things she didn't want the world connecting her to. But cutting off Sarah Ferguson wasn't just cold, it was dangerous. Because Fergie is not a woman you ghost. She is a woman who survives everything. And a woman who survives everything remembers everything. Insiders say Fergie's potential tell-all book is not a casual memoir, it's a weapon. A weapon filled with stories Meghan never wanted the world to hear. Among the secrets Fergie allegedly holds: 1. Meghan's past, in elite social circles, private jet flights, exclusive dinners, introductions arranged by powerful men, connections that paint a very different image of her ordinary beginning. 2. Meghan's alleged interest in Prince Andrew before Harry. This claim shocks even insiders. Sources say Meghan was once more curious about Andrew's circle before redirecting her attention toward Harry, and Fergie remembers that moment clearly. 3. The private jet controversy. While Harry flew economy to a Jamaica wedding, Meghan reportedly arrived on billionaire Ron Burkle's private plane. Connections like that are not innocent, not accidental, not forgettable. 4. The man Meghan allegedly didn't want at her wedding, Tom Inskip, the friend who knew things from Meghan's past. The palace never explained why he was excluded. Fergie can. 5. The image Meghan created, and the one she hid. Fergie saw both, and she knows how different they are. Each of these truths is heavy, but together they form a mirror Meghan does not want the world to look into. And that is why the palace is terrified. Not of Meghan, but of Fergie. When stories about Fergie's tell-all plans began circulating, the palace did something strange. They didn't deny it. They didn't defend Meghan. They didn't express outrage.
Meghan, because if the palace needs a distraction, if someone must take the hit, if one story must be sacrificed to protect bigger, older secrets, it won't be Charles, it won't be William, it won't be Camilla, it will be Meghan Markle, the outsider, the runaway duchess, the woman who refused to play their game. And Fergie might become the voice that brings that downfall. Picture a quiet morning in Montecito. Meghan preparing for her day. believing the world has finally calmed, believing the royal echoes have faded, but across the ocean, in a house filled with old letters, unopened chapters, and memories sharp as knives, Sarah Ferguson sits at a desk, a pen in her hand, a lifetime of silence behind her, a new fire burning inside her. For years she couldn't speak. Now, she can. She has nothing to lose. But Meghan has everything. Her image, her brand, her reputation, her marriage, her carefully crafted narrative. Fergie can rewrite it all. And the most chilling part? She doesn't need exaggeration. She only needs the truth. Because the truth, spoken at the wrong moment, by the wrong woman, can destroy an entire royal fairy tale. So now the world waits. Will Sarah Ferguson stay silent? Or will she open the door to a story Meghan never wanted told? A story about ambition, about betrayal, about circles of power, about the quiet war between two women who once stood in the same room but walked two very different paths. If Fergie speaks, the world won't just hear gossip, it will hear the truth. The truth Meghan Markle hoped would stay buried forever. Subscribe to StarGossip Hub, where legends rise, secrets fall, and no truth stays hidden forever.